there's no denying the rise in popularity of the mobile platforms on things like the iPhone and the iPad and Android for surfing the web and web applications. So I thought what we would do is take a look at some very simple tags that we can use, and in particular we're looking on this one at the Apple iOS platform. So we're talking about the iPhone, the iPad and the iPod Touch. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to take the approach that we have a web application, maybe we're an enterprise or something like that, or we just want to give a user the feeling that this web application is more like a native application that you would find in the iTunes store. So the advantage here, of course, is that since it's web-based, you can update it without having to go through the iTunes store and that sort of thing. So we just want to make it look like a better user experience for them. So what I've got here is a very simple page, and you can see it in the simulator here. And all I've got is one line of text, some comments here that we're going to work our way through, and a style defining a background color. And you can see the end result here, not exactly very pleasing. Certainly, as an end user, they can pinch to zoom in and that sort of thing. But this is all about making a better experience out of the box for them. We don't want our users to have to work to view our content or use our applications. So let's start working through some tips here, some simple tags to better make this a better experience for them. So the first one I'm going to use here, and I'm just going to uncomment this and save it. And now let's reload it and then we'll discuss it. So all I've done here is I've defined the viewport, which is in this case, this green area here, and I've set the content to be the width equal to the device width. So what's happening is it's automatically scaling our content to fit on the screen nicely. And so we haven't had to change any styles or anything like that. And the important thing to remember here, all these tags that we're going to look at today will not affect viewing them on any other platform, any other device, or any desktop browser. So we're literally targeting this specific iOS platform. So you can see that instantly they've got a better experience here. They no longer have to zoom to see the content, and we haven't had to do any fancy coding or styles. So let's move on to another one. Now for the rest of these tags, they work under a particular situation, and the situation here would be that the user would be accessing our website or our web application from an icon on their home screen. So let's just go over exactly what that is quickly. When the user clicks here, they can choose to create a conventional bookmark, or they can choose Add to Home Screen. And Add to Home Screen is essentially a bookmark on their home screen with an icon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here to show you. And so what it does is it creates an icon that we just click, and it loads up Safari and opens up our web page or our web application. So that's the situation here where these tags are going to work, and you'll understand why in a moment. So let's just delete that and go back to Safari. Now the reason being is it's essentially a full screen web application. And so let's go through and make some other changes here. Now since obviously they're going to have an icon on their home screen, the first thing we should do is add a more attractive and more appealing and perhaps eye-catching icon for them to click on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove this comment here and save the file. And what this link does, it points to this file up here that's called appletouchicon.png. So now when they go in and they add to home screen, oops, let's just cancel that. Let's reload the page quickly. It's got to load in the new tag. When they go in and click add to home screen, it's now going to use this PNG, this icon file here, as an icon on the home screen. So we'll just change the name, click add. And there you go. So now we have a native looking icon, for a native application icon for our website. We can just click on there and go back in. Everything looks the same. Something else we can do here is we can change the look of this status bar at the top. You'll have noticed if you use these devices that under certain situations you'll get a black look or a slightly different look up here. Well, we can actually do that with our website as well, our web application. To do that, we're going to use these two lines. And this first one here says to the device, okay, this is going to be a full screen web application. And this second one here actually defines the style. And what I'm going to do is, let's just change this. If you don't specify anything at all here, you're going to get the default. So if you specify default, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to see what you see now. So what we're going to do is, since this is a full screen application, you're not going to see this address bar or this search bar here. So let's just save that. We'll reload the page. And actually what we're going to do is we'll remove the icon as well. So now when we go in and we add to home screen and we click on the icon, you can see that we get this full screen look with this default bar at the top here. Well, you do actually have other options here, and another one you can use is black. So we're just going to save that, and let's go back to the home screen here, click on it again, and you can see that it gives us this black look, which can be useful for, you know, making the user's eye focus on the content here. And another one that you can use, so the other one is black translucent. Let's just save that, go back in. So what that does is you can see that you get a bleed through in the status bar from whatever's underneath it. So we've got some of the green coming through here. So that's the three options you have available to you. And let's go back in and make some other changes. One of the other changes we can make here is, you know, since we want this to look like a native application, we can give it a splash screen. So I'm just going to save this here. And so what I've done again, we have this, it has to be specific with this name, this link, and we're just pointing it to another file that I have up here. So now when we go back out and we go in, give it a chance to cache it here, you're going to see very briefly, I'll do it again, a splash screen before the web application or web page loads. Now, the time that you see that screen is dependent upon the amount of time it takes for the device to download and prepare the web page for viewing. So in our situation here, we only have one line of text. It doesn't take very long. But depending on how complex your page or the rendering is for your site, you know, the time that you're going to see that page is going to vary. That splash screen, it will vary, but you're going to see it. So there's some simple tags for you to give it more of a native application feel, but yet be a web-based application. I hope they're useful, and be sure to check out uibuzz.com for more useful content.